I'm very excited as a talk radio host myself to introduce our very next guest. He is, in addition to being a talk radio legend here in New England, he's a New York Times best-selling author, The Brothers Bulger and Hitman. Howie Carr is also a columnist for the Boston Herald and host of a daily syndicated radio show heard throughout New England and a member of the National Radio Hall of Fame in Chicago. Howie Carr, everybody.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here in New Hampshire as a resident of Massachusetts. You know, I like to address this group, but I also like to fill up the car with gasoline, buy all my soft drinks, get my neighbors some cigarettes. You know, a strong New Hampshire. I like that. I like the title of the organization. You know, a strong New Hampshire, economically anyway, depends on a weak Massachusetts, and we are delivering. As you know, yesterday we're trying to get the automatic gas tax repealed, and it's a very easy process. You only have to get 100,000 signatures, and of course none of us are getting paid, but. You guys are lucky you live here in New Hampshire. It's changed. I know it's changed. I miss guys like Meldrum Thompson and William Loeb, and but you still have it better than we do. Barely? Oh, definitely, yeah. No, you do have it. You have it better than we do. I wanted to speak today. Jordan spoke a little bit about it, and there was a great column by George Will earlier this week. I don't know if you saw it, and it was Rush read a lot of it over the air. I think on Wednesday or Thursday, and George Will was talking about, you know, we're coming up on the 50th anniversary of the assassination of John F. Kennedy, and he pointed out, and you know, I'm sure that all of you who are older in the audience have noticed this as well, that you know, it's like there's a line of demarcation in American history from the assassination, before the assassination and after the assassination. And one of the things that has changed the most about the United States since the assassination is the Democrat Party. And you know, I didn't realize that it had started changing as rapidly as it did after his assassination. Will was quoting from the New York Times the next day, was saying that James Reston, Scotty Reston, the gray eminence columnist for the New York Times, had a piece on the front page. John F. Kennedy was a victim of the spirit of America, that he was a victim of bigots. And as George Will pointed out, the next story over on the front page says, you know, Lee Harvey Oswald was a communist. He had lived in Russia, and yet somehow the next day, actually that afternoon, Earl Warren, the then Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, another bad pick by a Republican president, a Republican governor who became a very liberal Supreme Court Chief Justice. He had said that again, that John F. Kennedy was killed by the forces of bigotry and mean-spiritedness and parochialism, et cetera, et cetera. And you know, you go back and you look at the Democrat Party in 1963, and it was a party not that different from the Republican Party. It was you know, you had conservatives, you had liberals, you had moderates, you had a lot of people who were into defense, national defense. Remember Scoop Jackson? I think he was up here one time running for president, right? I mean, that was a guy who believed in a strong national defense. And now, as the years have gone by, the Democrat Party has changed so much, and you know, it really isn't the Democrat Party anymore. I mean, it's still. I thought about this for the first time this week. You know, it still has the name Democrat, but it's not Democrats. It's mainly socialists. And I mean, the socialists would be the moderate wing of what is called the Democrat Party. And you know, if you could sue, I mean, I know they're protected under the First Amendment, but if you could sue a party for false advertising, I mean, go after these people for using a false name, the Democrat Party, because they're not. And it's like Jordan was just saying, the same thing with their Supreme Court nominees. You know, whenever they talk about a big case coming up in the front of the Supreme Court, it's always, well, you know, Kennedy we may be able to convince Kennedy that to switch over to our side, or we may be able to get John Roberts to switch over to our side. When was the last time you read a story saying, we may be able to get Kagan to switch over, or Sotomayor, or any Breyer, Ginsburg? They march in lockstep. And you know, that's why it's difficult for the Republicans to win. I mean, they are still playing by the old rules, and it's like they think they're up against people who think like them, or think like us. But I don't think most Democrats think like us anymore.
No.
People ask me sometimes, you know, I write less now about, at the Herald, I write less about Democratic Party politics. Like, I'm not writing anything, there's an open seat for Ed Markey's. Ed Markey, there's an example for you. The son of a milkman. You do know that when he was first in Congress, he voted for a resolution to overturn Roe v. Wade. Now he says, by God, I'm not just for third trimester abortions, I'm for fourth trimester abortions. You get to take the kid home and see if you like it, and then make your decision whether you want to kill it. And it's the same. It was the same way with Ted Kennedy. Ted Kennedy started out as being a pro-life Democrat. And you know, there was this guy. What was that group's name? Stupak, the guy from Michigan.
Judas Stupak.
Yeah, Judas Stupak. Right, exactly. Oh no, we're going to hold out. We're not going to give our support to Obamacare until we make sure that there is no mention of abortion, that abortions will not be paid for by Obamacare. Yeah, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. You know, and you're right. Now, of course, we know that Obamacare is going to pay for all of that. So, what I've been thinking more and more is that the Republicans need to sort of, I don't know if it, I don't want to use a word like cleanse, because that's I don't mean that. I want everything. I do believe in sort of a big tent, but the party has got to start operating with the same kind of principles as the Democrats, and I'm with Jordan about that Ted Cruz.
Yeah.
I saw a poll up here a couple of weeks ago, and it said that Marco Rubio was leading the pack up here. I think.
No.
I don't see it from my listeners. I'm the number one guy in the afternoon in New Hampshire as well as Massachusetts. I'm for Ted Cruz myself. I just wanted to throw this out just to see what kind of reaction I would get today. What do you all think of Kelly Ayotte? You like her? But I mean, you have to be extremely disappointed in her actions over the last few months, don't you?
Croc TV.